Welcome to Women in WP, a bi-monthly podcast about women who blog, design, develop, and more in the WordPress community.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello from WordCamp Europe in Berlin, Germany. We are going to interview some women that are here in attendance. And by we, I mean me, as the representation of the Women in WP hosts. So we hope you enjoy this, and excuse the noise. It's our typical conference hallway track, as it will. So enjoy these some of these interviews and meet some of the wonderful women that are behind creating and using this platform of WordPress. Welcome to WordCamp Europe.
Yay!
Yay! Is this your first time here?
This is my first time in Berlin. This is my second WordCamp Europe.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
Well, it is huge.
Yes, it is.
So tell us your name, what you do, and then just kind of go into like how you got into WordPress.
Okay. I'm Rochelle Wise. I have been doing WordPress probably in some form since like 2003. I went to school for graphic design, and I ended up finding that I liked code better than design. Everywhere I ended up working for graphic design stuff, I ended up doing their website. They're like, oh, I need a website. You can do that, right? And I was like, well, and so I ended up kind of getting more into, and at that time it was like HTML and Flash. But
yeah.
So I started learning ActionScript in Flash, and that led me into JavaScript because they're kind of related. And then JavaScript led to jQuery and PHP and, full range of CSS and
Avalanched.
Yes, and people were interested in blogging. That was exploding in the early 2000s, and so I ended up doing a lot of WordPress stuff and ended up starting to use it as a content management system and WordPress, and here we are.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, that just ended up being one of my favorite platforms for building websites. I do some other stuff once in a while, but we'll not talk about that.
We don't talk about those
There's
things.
other guys.
No. Yes, no, we're at WordPress. It's all WordPress.
That's
WordPress. Right. So you do you work independently?
Yes, I work by myself. Every now and then I'll bring in somebody else to work on a project, but for the most part, just me. And I do design, development, I do some SEO stuff. I'm kind of a Jill of all trades, kind of, just working by myself kind of necessitated that, just because I don't want to have to hire somebody for every little bit of a project. And so I ended up learning a lot of things, and it's been an adventure.
Yep, that sounds about right. It's interesting because that's been a parallel a lot, because that's kind of my WordPress origin story is the same kind of thing. Just this thing is interesting to me, and then I couldn't focus on one thing, and I just learned all of the things. And it's been interesting to as we've been interviewing women from all over the world, it's actually more common than we think. And I was like, I didn't realize.
I wonder if it's like a personality type, we're the kind of people that like to, we're kind of information hoarders, learn new things.
New stuff.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was always jumping to the next great new thing. Now I'm trying to learn React, and trying to get into some apps. And
how is React learning going?
It's different, it's challenging, but there's a lot of great courses out there, and just, trying to get what I can and working on it.
I was at a conference last week about CSS, and Brad Frost talked about this, and he was like, "Oh yeah, and everyone now is React," and but why? React.
Gutenberg.
And I said, yeah, exactly. It's controlling everything. It's been on my list. I want to learn it, so I'm very interested to hear about what are the pain points you've had.
Yeah, it's just the syntax is different. I think if you know some other kinds of code languages, it's going to come to you. I've really enjoyed, I did a course on Udemy about React Native to make mobile apps, and that was actually really educational and awesome, and you actually could come away building some simple apps, and
that's really cool. Well, that's awesome. Anything that you've learned here that you're like, this has been amazing, or what's your favorite part? Or
I went to a talk yesterday, and now, of course, my brain isn't working, and I don't remember who was running the talk about upgrading to PHP 7 and just kind of ways of refactoring your code, and like because WordPress is going to drop 5 and completely skip 6, and
as you do,
yeah, there's a lot of work to be done, and I think in some ways it also makes your code more efficient too, to kind of take into consideration some of these things. Yeah,
I have been hearing about it, and I feel like I don't do enough advanced like PHP stuff that I will be affected. I might be wrong, so I'm hoping I'm not.
Yeah.
But that's been something
I don't know.
To figure out.
I have all these grand notions of going through and like working on sites that I've done in the past. I keep thinking, I'm going to go back to this site and upgrade that code, or I'm going to go put in this feature, and new stuff keeps coming, and it's like, oh god, I'm never going to have time to go back and fix things. And so what's going to happen is my server is going to roll over to PHP 7, and whatever breaks, I'm going to go fix that, and that's going to be it.
That's perfect. Good. That's great. That's awesome. But that's a good plan.
Yeah, it was a good talk. I learned a lot, and may or may not apply it.
Okay, well, so great. That's really the thing. Yep. Anyway, so cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for spending some time with us to be on the show.
Thanks.
Make sure to get your sticker and enjoy the rest of WordCamp.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet. Tell me your name, where you're from.
My name is Maringa and I'm from the Netherlands, a little town called Harderwijk. So it's right in the center of the Netherlands.
Nice.
And I was born in Amsterdam, but we moved to the north of the Netherlands when I was really young. So I grew up on a farm. And how did I get to WordPress? I've got a really weird background story.
We've had some weird ones, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
I started out as I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Okay.
So I went to this school that was training to not to be a vet, but a veterinary assistant.
Okay.
Because my education wasn't high enough, and when I was there, I met my then boyfriend, and his dad was a biotechnician, and that means he worked with laboratory animals. And I didn't know what I wanted to do because veterinary was way too high up, and my boyfriend at the time wanted to do the same as his dad did. And I went to I don't know how you call it here, but we've got these days that you can see what people are doing in the education.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I went there with him, and I signed up, and that was in July, and we started in September, and I didn't have anything arranged at all. But it was the best step I made in my life, and I worked there for 15 years in medical research, and I've worked with some really big names. Johnson & Johnson, for instance, but also Medtronic, and really cool names. And it was really cool, but then I fell from my horse, and my work was just too hard to do. My back was aching. I've been in pain for over 7 years, so I had to quit, and I didn't know what to do. And I was developing some HTML websites at the time, just for friends, just a blog site for myself. And I thought, well, maybe I should do that.
Why not?
Why not? So that was 2012, and here we are now.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's a great story. It's funny because I also rode horses.
Okay.
I also fell off my horse and have a bad back from it.
Yeah.
But not to say hey, I love horseback riding, I miss it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, well that is
This
really
is the horse I fell off from.
Oh. What's its name?
Rinus.
Venus.
Rinus.
Okay, what kind of
A
horse?
Shire.
Oh, nice.
So really big, 185.
So that's a long fall.
Yeah. We
Wow.
were in a canter in the forest, and he tripped. I fell off, and he tripped over me. So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, the horses, they just know, and they're like, I did it.
Yeah. And he was fine, by the way. So that was good.
That is really good. Well, that is a great story. So, is this your first WordCamp Europe?
No, I've been to Leiden because I was nearby.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I really wanted to come, but I just couldn't make it, and I got a little girl, and so life got in between. But now I thought, well, I'm back, and here I am. I go to Berlin.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
it's great. I'm glad you're here. How have you enjoyed the conference so far?
It's really great. Very interesting talks. I really wanted to do a workshop yesterday, but they were already fully booked.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But I did see some really interesting talks and talked with nice people here.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for asking me.
Yes, wonderful. So, tell everyone who you are, what you do, where you work, where you're from, anything.
Okay, so hi, I'm Vasi. I'm from Bulgaria. I started getting into WordPress like 10, 12 years ago when I was just blogging about, and I found the platform and I fell in love with it. So eventually I came to learn more about the WordPress community and started attending WordCamps, and one thing led to another, and here I am. I do marketing communication. I'm an independent consultant, so I work on my own now, and I help a lot of brands. Quite a few of my clients are on WordPress already, so that's quite nice.
Is this your first WordCamp Europe?
No, it's actually my third one. I was last year in Belgrade, and I was in Sofia because I'm from Sofia. So
Yep.
yeah,
That's awesome. So, how has it been for you? What has been your favorite part?
I think meeting new people is the strongest one for me because obviously presentations, quite a few of them were really nice and I learned a lot, but actually communicating with people and seeing how different people use WordPress and also learning about some new plugins and tools that I can use has been awesome.
What about WordPress? What has been your favorite thing about it? How has it helped you in what you're passionate about, your career and all of that?
Okay, so I think that the most important thing for me, especially when I was starting, was to find a platform that gave me both user-friendliness and ease of use, but also quite a lot of freedom, so that with time, when I was learning more, I could do more with it. So when I first started off, I just got a team of the gallery and like hit publish and started doing some writing. But then with time, when I wanted to tweak some stuff and so on, it became much more elaborate what I wanted to do. So that's also very well done within WordPress.
Yeah, I agree. So, like that's been my favorite thing too, because I've absolutely gradually, and a lot of people we've interviewed and talked to, same thing. Like, oh well, I can start off with this little thing here, and then the community is so amazing, and you can expand and all sorts of stuff. Well, and it's so great. I love it. Well, I'm so glad to meet you. Thank you for stopping by.
Sure thing. Yeah, I like it a lot. Thanks.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Tell us who you are and what you do, where
Yeah.
you're from.
Okay. Well, I'm from Bristol in the UK.
I love that area.
Me too. What do I do? There's no short answer to this, so I'll try my best. I have a lot of different skill sets and I do a lot of different things, but mainly I'm a freelancer. And I'm a freelancer because it allows me to do all these different things. So I'm a developer. So my background's in computer science. I love coding. It's fantastic and it's really great. And I love coding in WordPress. The other thing that I do is instructing as well. So I teach people to code in WordPress as well. So I teach on a boot camp, beginners kind of like camp. And I look after the WordPress week in that, which is a real privilege and I love doing it. The other thing I do is some speaking as well. So I'm emceeing here this afternoon on track 3 and hosting a panel discussion about Gutenberg.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, I'll be really happy when we've done that. And I also have a lot of management skills as well. So project management and change management. And I don't really sell those services, but they're handy as a freelance developer to be able to manage projects.
So true.
There's no short answer. I'm really sorry.
No, I
It's a
am
long
the same
one.
way, so I totally understand this. I understand the struggle. They're like, what do you do? And I'm like, yes.
How long have you got?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's your schedule like? What's your next, half hour going? Like, be like, so, but how did you get into WordPress?
So I got into WordPress after having been away traveling for some time. I had a bit of a, what do people call it? Like a bit of a burnout from working in government for 8 years, doing changey project management stuff. And I was looking to redefine my career and myself and what I did. So I went back into coding. So I did computer science at university, stopped coding, went off, did management stuff, and then decided to come back to coding. And I started looking for work and had to start right at the bottom. And, people would ask me to do jobs and I'd be like, okay. And I ended up doing some mobile app stuff, some CSS stuff, some ISO certification stuff. But the thing that was really exciting was that people kept asking me to do WordPress stuff. And that seemed to be a repeating theme. And then, as I suspect with most people, I went to a local meetup. And I felt really welcome at that meetup, especially as a woman, in trying to relearn coding. And no one at any point laughed at me or didn't take me seriously. Everyone was really like, yeah, we'll help you. What do you want to know? And I was like, everything.
All of the things.
Tell me everything. Yes. And so I kept going to the meetup. And then ended up organising it and getting involved because it snuck out that I did managementy stuff. So
as you do.
As you do. And the demand was just there with my clients. And then eventually there came a point where I was like, well, heck, I'm going to do this full time. I'm going to just do WordPress. I'm going to not worry about all the other technologies and all Joomla I did quite a lot in. And so I just focused in on WordPress. So the community in Bristol is really what ultimately drew me in and gave me a big hug and said, hey, you're welcome here, come and do this.
It's so good to hear because I've been hearing that a lot because I was, Milwaukee has a really good WordPress community as well. And so I begin to wonder, I was like, is this just an anomaly or is this, but it's so good to hear that so many other people have had that good experience with the community. And you're not alone. There's many people we've interviewed that they're like, I went to this thing and then I started organizing it. It seems to be a common theme as well.
Yeah, I mean, I often say to people we all have competing priorities for our time. And I want to spend as much time with my family as I can, away from coding. I want to be in nature. I want to be doing these things. But I'm so glad that I do organise because it makes me go every month. There's no excuse. I've got to go because I'm hosting it, which is good, which is a great way to commit to things. But also, I go every month, even maybe when we've organised talks that maybe aren't as appealing to me. I may not necessarily choose to go, and I still get so much out of it every time.
Nice.
Every time.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's interesting because sometimes I've been to conferences and then I'd go to the talks that I are in my field.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, but I know most of this stuff. And because there's only so much how deep you can get into 45 minutes or so.
Yeah.
But then going to things like, I went to some, it was at South by Southwest many years ago. It was Cooking for Geeks. And it stuck with me to this day. It was like the science about food preparation.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I learned so much about that. And I was just fascinated by it. So, but it was one of those things, I wouldn't have thought to go to that, but I literally looked at the schedule and I was like, what are the things that I know nothing about? And that was one of them. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So is this your first WordCamp Europe?
No, I came last year as well. So I went to Belgrade last year and was emceeing as well last year too. So Tess, who is on the organising team, I mean, I owe her props. She's always very shy and kind of no about it. But she invited me to MC. I would have never considered it. WordCamp Europe wasn't even on my radar. I didn't really think I maybe belonged here. I don't know. I was, having been to UK WordCamps, for whatever reason, it just hadn't occurred to me. But because she put faith in me and it put her neck on the line to recommend me, I was like, well, I can't let Tess down. I've got to come and do this now and do a good job. Otherwise, Tess looks silly because she, recommended me. So yeah, I did come last year.
That's also, it's very interesting because I didn't start speaking until someone asked me, and I was like, because I never thought, I don't have anything to offer. Like what, but it's and that's been a recurring theme, and it's especially I feel like a lot of women feel that way. They're like, oh no, I just do this work, and but we have been interviewing some just amazing, just people doing these amazing things, and they're just like, oh, I just did this, I just taught myself this because I had a kid, or I just wanted a career change. And it's been amazing. I'm really glad that you're emceeing and that you're organizing and that you're visible in the community. So that's really great.
I think it's important. We need more women to be visible, or we need more diversity in our community in whatever shape or form that is, because it's better that way.
Absolutely.
I think then you have to be the change you want to see.
Yep. So true. This is why we started the podcast.
I love this. I think it's great.
Yeah.
You've got to scare yourself a bit sometimes, haven't you? I think four of us ladies were out for dinner last night, and we were talking about this kind of stuff. And I'm quite an experienced coder now. Been coding, learned at university. I've been 5 years on my own. And I still get scared on a daily basis by the problems that are in front of me. I still get these kind of like, I can't do this, or I have these moments of kind of panic. And we all said, whatever career we're in, because we all do different things. So Leslie runs a company. Helen's just started coding but has a background in writing, and Tess is marketing. We all said, oh my God, me too. I get scared. And I'm like, but you're amazing. You know everything.
Yeah.
No, get scared. And so I think that power of invitation, of someone saying, I've got you. You can do this. Come with me. Let's do this together. Especially within the female community, I think is very powerful. And probably other communities too, but female ones.
Anyway, especially where there's not the representation.
Yeah.
It's not the quote unquote norm.
Yeah.
That's so key. That's such a great thing. And we've been finding so many connections about this, and it's been amazing.
Yeah.
So that's so wonderful. Well, I'm so glad you stopped by so we could get your voice on this show.
Thank you, Tracy, and thank you for what you're doing to give us a voice.
Oh, well,
because that's part of what we all have to do together, isn't it? So thank you for that too.
Well, thank you, and two of my other two hosts that couldn't make it, but it has been it's a labor of love, but we've gotten so much more from what we do, so it's been great. So thank you. First off, explain who you are and what do you do, where are you from?
I'm Laura Nelson. I am the marketing manager at Pragmatic. I've also just joined the mental health charity WPML, which focuses on the WordPress community, as a trustee. So
Awesome.
I've just got stuck into that. And I'm from Brighton in the UK.
Nice. There's a good showing of Brighton.
There is. Wherever you go, you will find one of us.
Yeah. I mean, that's accurate. I've seen. Yeah, that's great. I love the area. I love that area. I visited about 10 years ago, and it was so beautiful. So we always ask in our podcast, how did you get into WordPress? What was your journey?
So it started off really informally at uni, and I did a media studies degree, but I'm really, really into video games. And I started a video games blog on WordPress.com.
Yeah.
And then after uni, I just happened to get a job at a really tiny digital agency that specialised in WordPress. And in my slight naivety, I was like, WordPress, I've done that, I know that, blogging, but obviously it's very different on .org. And so it began. So that was about 8 years ago.
Nice.
And since then, I've worked sort of client side. We have WordPress website, which I market and maintain, and then now at another WordPress specific agency.
That's spectacular. From gaming,
yeah.
I love it. It's fascinating to me because I also love games, but I'm a Civilization. Kind of game, right? Like nothing that's going to be super stressful to me. But I want to be able to build things and solve problems and that kind of thing. And it's fascinating because those are really good skills for what we do.
They are, yeah.
And kids these days, right? Like they just I just play video games. We're like, but you're really good at these skills.
Like Minecraft and stuff, how amazing kids are at that. That is, they're so talented.
I know. I have to learn from some of the kids, and I'm like, how did you do that?
I know. I'm watching YouTube videos of things on Twitch, and it's by 8-year-olds, and I'm like, oh, cool.
Inspired by 8-year-olds. Yeah. There you go. That's spectacular.
Yeah. But no, it's really, I think they like develop really important skills, and again, it's working in this industry, a lot of us are problem solvers, and obviously that's what we enjoy doing. So
Yeah.
you know,
It's absolutely so true. But was this your first WordCamp Europe, or?
no, it is. My first one was WordCamp Europe in Vienna. So
Okay.
that was
I really wanted to go to that, but I missed it.
It was hot, like hotter than this.
Oh, really?
Really
Okay, I
hot.
would have melted.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was good. But that was my first ever WordCamp.
Oh, really?
So-
Go big or go home.
I know, right? I was like, what have I walked into? What is this? What have I done?
Where am I and
Yeah.
why? Yeah, whoa. Yeah, wow.
But since then, got really into it, and I actually then went into organising WordCamps, so
spectacular.
caught the bug really quickly.
You're not alone. There's a lot of people,
Yeah.
and a lot of women that we've interviewed. They're like, oh, I went to this thing, and then I started organizing it.
There's loads of like female WordCamp organisers actually, and Brighton this year there's going to be a panel just about female WordCamp organisers.
Really? Huh.
Pretty.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'd love to join that.
Oh yeah, come to Brighton. You sort of said you love Brighton.
Right, I do love that.
You're
You know,
invited.
I just need some sponsors for the podcast,
Yeah.
and then send women in WordPress.
Oh, wonderful.
Wouldn't that be great? I don't think so. I think that's a great idea.
That is a great idea.
No, but anyway,
Speak my boss.
yeah. Hello. So about this thing. It's spectacular. Well, thank you so much for chatting.
Thanks so much
Stepping
for
by.
having
It was
me.
really nice to meet you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks
Great.
for the date crash.
Yeah, awesome. Tell us who you are, what do you do, where are you from?
My name is Didi. I'm Nigerian. What do I do? I do marketing strategy. So I think I'm the most non-techie person here. But I've liked WordPress since I was trying to like brand myself in quotes. So I think 2013-ish. Or 2011 actually, I created my first website using WordPress, and yes.
See, a lot of people are like, well, I'm not technical, so I don't feel like, but that is a huge part of the community.
I think so.
I absolutely agree. Like, I can't do what you do. Like, I think in pictures and colors, and I
You
can't-
design?
I do.
Oh, cool.
I do design. So that is a fascinating and very much needed skill. How did you get started in WordPress? Was it just like you found it somewhere, someone told you? Like, how did you get into it?
WordPress as a platform, I think I've always been inquisitive, so I wanted to build a site myself. Oh, I paid a developer to build the site, but he was wasting so much time. And so I went on the internet thinking found WordPress, got a template, did the whole thing. The website's down now, but I used I think Wayback Machine recently.
Oh, yeah.
And I could see how it looked. I was like, oh, you did well. So yeah, that was how I found WordPress as a platform. But as a community, it's fairly recent. It was just 2 years ago in Paris, WordCamp Paris.
Oh, yeah.
I was bored that weekend. I was supposed to travel, but I didn't travel out of Paris. So I was bored. And then I went on Twitter and I was looking for what I could do in Paris. And I found Prosperous. They were just bought by WooCommerce. They were
Yeah.
trying to give out tickets to WordCamp Paris. I'm like, WordCamp Europe, sorry. I'm like, oh, what's this? And then I went.
I love it. I
Yeah.
was bored. I think that's my favorite how I got into this community story ever.
Yeah.
That's so great.
It was so much fun. Like, Prosperous team was so fun. So I was like, oh, if this guy's fun, it means the community is fun.
Uh-huh. And it's interesting because we've interviewed people from all over, and that's been the kind of the thread that, binds us all, is that
Yeah.
we've all felt
home.
we've all felt welcomed in this community and invited to be a part of it, and to not only just be a part of it, but actually organize and participate and lead in
Yeah.
this space. You're also on the organizing team.
Yeah,
is
so
that
the
correct?
funny thing is, right after that, there was a call for organizers for the year after. That's Belgrade.
Yeah.
And then I sent in an application because I've done stuff with Web Summit as well. So I used to help organize Web Summit in Lisbon. So I sent in an application and I got selected. So I organized like right after my first boardroom experience. And this year I got to lead the PR team as well. So,
That's awesome.
And that's also a recurring theme too. People are like, I came and then I started organizing, and after the first time, or that kind of thing. So, and it really speaks to just the amazing women that are in this
People to see
community.
me without this, so they don't think
Right?
that.
That you don't actually have a TAPS bow tie on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's. How has your conference been going? Have you gotten to attend things?
I haven't attended anything this year, so I feel like when I go back home, I will
watch everything.
Yes, yeah. But it's been interesting. So for the PR team, it's more about crafting the narrative and amplifying what's happening here. So we have media partners here, interviewing speakers, just covering the conference. We had like a Dutch Belgium. Sorry, my German is terrible.
I don't know.
But yeah, they're like one of the biggest TV stations. They were here as well. So yeah, we've done quite well in amplifying what's happening here.
And this is the largest WordCamp.
Exactly, it is.
Like, period.
It is.
Like,
it is.
So that is a big task.
It is.
So, and I have been very impressed with how this has been, how the narrative, how the story has been very, very well planned. So, props to you.
Yeah, I accept that. And the communications team definitely.
Yeah.
They as well. They've been amazing. It's been a great conference.
It's really great. Well, I'm so glad to have met you. And thank you for stopping and adding your voice to this podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for giving voice to women in WordPress.
Oh, it's our pleasure, because it's paid off tenfold, because we've met some just amazing women that are doing just really amazing things, and it's inspiring us as well.
And when do we get the chance to interview you?
Whenever. I'm here all day.
Right. All right then. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. First, who are you? Where are you from? What do you do?
Oh, we're already on.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Sabrina. I'm from Ukraine. Sometimes I code.
Sometimes.
Yeah, from time to time.
How did you get started in WordPress?
I need a simple website. And I tried few solutions. It was 10 years ago or something. I tried few solutions, including Magenta, for the simple website.
I've used that. It's
Yes. So, it was such a frustrating experience. And then I found out that there was a system called WordPress. I tried it. 5 minutes installed. Didn't work well for me, but anyway, those 6 minutes were much faster than anything else.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I just fell in love with it and tried to find out how things work.
Yeah.
And when something went wrong, I tried to find out what's going on there, why the screen is white, what is fatal error. Yeah, what was the error I knew before, but what is fatal error? Yeah, so a few years later I discovered myself being a backend developer all of a sudden.
Oh, well, yeah, as you do.
Yeah.
What was the website on?
It was a website for advertising agency I was working for.
Oh, yeah.
I was a designer.
Okay, yeah.
So,
yep.
Yeah,
I hear
that's
ya.
it.
I hear ya. I am also design, and I do that. I've done that. I've like refined my skills by like being a designer, and like, oh, you need a website too. I can do that. And WordPress, you're right, like it's much easier than most of the other ones.
Yeah.
What other ones did you try?
I tried something.
Yeah, because I've tried Drupal before,
I haven't.
and it made me feel dumb. This was years ago. So
Yeah.
they've changed it, and
Not
I'm sure
to offend anyone, right?
and I'm sure it's much better now. I've heard that it's much better.
Yeah.
But when I tried it, I was in the mindset of WordPress, and I was like, okay, I want this thing. So I just, what's the call, or what's this function? Where do I put this little thing there? And then I couldn't. It was, and I was like, this is making me feel dumb. Even just trying to okay, this is an existing set, it's already built. Where does this content go?
Yeah. Well, and where it comes from.
Where does it come from? How does that happen?
Yeah.
So what was it? You were it was an advertising agency that you were at, or no?
Yeah.
Was there a specific like focus at that advertising agency? Did you have a niche?
It was graphic design for the printing stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing back in the days.
Yeah. How? This isn't your first WordCamp Europe, correct? You've been to several, right?
Yeah, I've been to Serbia. This is my second one.
Okay. Yep. Cool. What was your favorite part about? What did you
In
learn?
Serbia, here.
Yeah.
In Serbia, here.
Well, anyone.
Now I appreciate that in Serbia I wasn't doing anything useful because I could enjoy like being with people, being with community more than this time, because this time more responsibility. I'm volunteering, and also I was hosting a workshop just an hour ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a bit more busy.
So
than Belgrade.
you attended one and then you volunteered the second one, right? Is that?
No,
Oh,
I was
no.
hosting my workshop.
Oh, okay.
Speaking about WordCamps.
Yep.
Yeah, I just attended.
Why not?
Yeah, it was just like so relaxing. Yeah, I just attended, partying, talking to people, eating tasty food. Nothing to worry about.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, I have nothing to worry about right now as well. But just like some things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So since you started with WordPress now, and you say you code a little, how much do you use that now on like a daily basis, or do you do still more design? Do you do more code?
I haven't been doing design for the last 8 years, I think, so
Okay.
since I started WordPress backend career, can you call it like this? So for the last 4 years, I was doing is helping development teams to set up networks of websites with WordPress multi-site.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting part of WordPress because of the in terms of scaling.
Oh, yeah.
You just multiply everything you do in seconds.
So true.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's kind of like amazing. And for the last 6 months, I'm lucky to work for WP Rocket. WP Media and WP Rocket is our product, which is, of course everyone knows because it's very popular and it's cool. Yeah, so what we do, we're making web faster for our clients and trying to speed up their websites without breaking anything, which works sometimes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sometimes that works.
Yeah.
Sometimes not.
Right.
I love it. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great rest of the conference.
Thank you.
Now you're free. You can just like enjoy it.
Yeah, okay, I have my shift in 40 minutes.
Okay, well, but that's fine. I mean, that's fine. What are you volunteering with again?
I'm speaker language manager, so
Okay.
we are responsible for the workshop leads to be there on time to get any blog they need. So
You wrangle people.
yeah,
Yeah.
we bring them at the place and try to get them set. Because for my own workshop, I needed so much stuff. I made trouble to my other colleague who was on morning shift.
Uh-huh.
I needed pencils, markers. I needed something to print and stuff. Yeah, and also I was stuck in the traffic jam. So I messaged her like, "I'm coming. Don't worry." Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's stressful.
So I'm lucky not to having someone like me in my shift. Right.
That's spectacular. That's awesome. Well, thank you for chatting.
Thank you for inviting me.
Hi.
Hello,
So tell us, who are you and what do you do and where are you from?
I'm Barbara Saul, or Babs. I'm from the UK. I live in Kent, which is just southeast of London. I'm here at WordCamp Europe with WP and Up, which is all around the mental health and physical health and all kinds of other health that we can think of. And I've just started working with them on the content side of the website. So I'm sort of interviewing a few people and and everything, but also as a woman in WP, I wanted to sort of come and say hello as well.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you did. How did you get involved with WordPress in the first place?
Goodness. I've been making websites for, I don't know, what year is it? 20 years. And then I started to use WordPress. Didn't like it much to start with, but then I did start to like it, and I thought, I can do this, and then my customers can update the websites themselves.
And they don't have to bother me.
I know, I love that. So, and that's kind of what I do. I'll put websites together for them and help them to work on it themselves.
Yeah.
That's what I love doing. But also I work within the community as well. I went up to volunteer at WordCamp London back in 2016. And then the following year I went back and led the volunteers on the team, of course, and which was lovely. I absolutely adore doing that. And then I was Anna's deputy last year, and she just got on and did it. I just was there. And then this year I co-led WordCamp London, so it's like...
That's awesome. You know, it's interesting because it's been a recurring theme. Women, we've gone in, we're like, oh, this is amazing. And then we end up leading the next step. Like we organize and we do this stuff, right? Exactly. But it's really a testament to like how many really amazing women and how much of this community is powered by women.
It is. It's wonderful. One of the things I loved about WordCamp London, and I think with some of the others in the UK as well, we found is that naturally half of the speakers are women.
Love it.
And that's just incredible.
That's so great.
That's such a great thing. I know that there has been a diversity. There's been a whole thing about encouraging women and the workshops and everything, and they seem to be working because more women are applying, which is brilliant.
Love it.
So
that is so great. And I've noticed because I speak, I used to love going to all these different tech conferences. It was always all men and then, a smattering of women. But WordPress community, I've always felt much more like there's much more representation of women here and diversity. And so I've always loved WordCamps. Have been my favorite place to speak because of that.
Yes, I can't imagine speaking at any other. I think that would terrify me. Speaking at a WordCamp is daunting enough.
Yeah.
But everybody's friendly and everybody's on your side.
Yeah.
The whole community is just amazing. It's wonderful. And even when other things go on and you think, why am I doing it? I think I'm doing it for the people, for the community. So, because it's just awesome.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you for stopping and chatting with me.
You're very welcome.
I love it. So, it was wonderful to hear from you and another person that just is working at creating these spaces. And I also really love WP Up, the mission there. I think it's really, really needed.
That's very exciting. We've got so many things to take away from WordCamp Europe that we want to work on and develop. I've got so much writing to do now. It's, I've got a summer full of writing of posts.
It's spectacular. Well, thank you so much. It was so wonderful to meet you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My name is Alice. I'm from Italy, but I live in Spain, in Barcelona. I'm a content writer and social media manager, working for WP Rocket hash plugin. And I really enjoy writing and speaking languages, so that's my power.
I love it. I'm terrible at languages and writing, so I absolutely love the skills that you have. And they are very crucial in this community.
Thank you.
How did you get started in WordPress?
Okay, that's a funny story. I started as a blogger on my own, but then I started to have some technical issue on WordPress with my blog, and when I tried to solve them with people on chat and support, I realized that there was a world behind that. And so I thought, okay, that's interesting, let me investigate a bit more. And so there's when I met the community, but also I found a job because of that. I found an offer by WP Media was looking for somebody who spoke languages. It's like destiny.
I love it.
Very funny story, but that's where I also professionally started with WordPress almost 4 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love stories like that because it's so great. Like, one thing that we've been seeing, like interviewing people all over, is how many women there are really covering this community, which is really encouraging and really amazing. It's so great. So, is this your first WordCamp Europe or
No, it's like the fourth one maybe.
Okay, so you learned of WordPress in the community and then just like jumped in.
Yeah.
That's also pretty common. A lot of women, they're like, that's what we're like, this is cool.
Yeah,
I can help organize.
Oh, well, not that much, but I spoke
Yes.
2 years ago at
That's
Paris, about this, about my story and how I got started with WordPress. And I'll also tell you, I'm very active in the Italian WordPress community. I'm a GTE, so I'm a polyglot for the Italian team. And our community is crowded with super women. I mean, we're a lot of really interesting personalities and women that work in that community. So we are a very good example of powerful women in WordPress.
That's so great, you know, and it's especially living in the States. I see the WordPress community in Milwaukee. Milwaukee is a very, very good WordPress community. And then I see like these other pockets in these cities and such. But doing this podcast to learn of all of the other, you know, the networks, which is so amazing to hear. Is it really large? Is it centralized? Is it spread out? What does that even look like
in Italy? You mean?
In Italy, yeah.
It all started with a few cities that started to organize WordCamps a few years ago, and then we really gathered through Slack. I mean, our core is our community in Slack, but you know, I mean, there's a lot of people from Italy here at WordCamps, and every WordCamp is an occasion to gather within friends. It's super funny. So we work in community, but we also hang out a lot. I mean, it's a very warm
really
and
shocking
welcoming.
to me. A bunch of Italians like hanging out and enjoying
like
each other's
making
company.
noises.
I knew that is so unlike you. No, that's so amazing. That's really great. That's so great.
Yeah, it's very nice. I loved it. And that's it.
How has your WordCamp been this year?
Very good. Yeah, pretty interesting. I mean, there's a lot of interesting talks and...
Did you learn anything new?
As well. I mean, especially contributor days. I mean, I got to meet other people from other communities from the Polyglots team, so it's always a good occasion to see how other teams are contributing and how they organize themselves. It's very nice. Yeah.
How many, like, for all of the translation, like, how many people are on that team? Like
in Italy?
Well,
or
anywhere. Like, is it really big, or is it something that they still need a lot of help on the Polyglots team?
So translations, I think, is one of those parts of the community that really everybody can contribute in, because it's important that you know your own language and English. So we have a lot of different backgrounds, and the community of translators is very big. What is difficult is to get these people on board and make them stay. So engage in a long-term relationship with the community, because there's a lot of plugins and themes and products to translate at huge amounts.
I can imagine. And now I remember a stat that it was like it's growing faster in non-English. The downloads are, and that is...
There's a lot of requests from also international developers and agencies that are trying to find new translations and contributors. So our goal, for example, in the Italian is to complete the 200 top plugin list to find new contributers.
Wow. Well, that sounds like you have your work cut
Ambitious
out
goal.
for you. Yes. But good luck with that. And thank you for stopping and chatting.
Thank you for treating me.
It's my pleasure. It was wonderful to meet you. All right.
I am Anissa Ferreira. I am from Brazil, São Paulo, and I am one of the organizers of WordCamp São Paulo. There I have a small agency and I work mostly with WordPress.
So that's awesome. I would love to go to that WordCamp. That would be awesome. But how did you get started into WordPress? How did you find WordPress?
Well, I had a personal blog in WordPress, And when I started my own agency, we started using it for our own website, but just like we installed a theme, and then we wanted a platform to build sites for our clients. And then there is WordPress. Maybe we can use this for our clients too. And we started researching about how to build websites, and got involved with the community by asking a lot of questions. Thank you, São Paulo community. You helped us a lot. And then we try to give back some that we received. So that's it.
That's really awesome. Do you consider yourself more on the design side, the planning side, content side, or development side, or all?
Well, in my personal website, I wrote that I am 50-50 designer and developer, because I can really pick one side. I love both. And I love designing, love projecting. I love building it with CSS and HTML and PHP. So I don't know, I'm half of it.
I have the same problem always, because people will ask, "Oh, do you design, development?" And I say yes.
Exactly, that's the only answer, the only right answer. Yes. Don't please say that.
Yeah. What's your favorite part of it, or is it just like the whole process itself?
I love both, like planning a website. How will this thing work? And I also love a lot of CSS and SAS. So I love both.
I actually came a week early, and I was in Amsterdam at CSS Day conference.
Nice.
And I love it because I love CSS.
Oh, I love it.
It's so amazing all the things you can do with it now.
Yes, I speak up about CSS too in the local meetups in São Paulo, and I try to speak about things that CSS can do that people don't usually know, like not the advanced stuff, but these really simple ones, and people get, oh, this is possible.
Yeah. Even just like, so I started developing sites many years ago before CSS was really around, right? And just like how much easier these tools have gotten with like Flexbox and CSS Grid, like some of these layouts that I used to struggle with making. Now I'm like, oh,
yeah,
look at this.
Exactly. CSS Grid was like that for me. I can make grid with 3 lines now instead of like 3 files.
Right? What's your go-to resources to learn more on the CSS side of things?
Well, CSS Tricks. Mm-hmm. Hi, Chris Collier, if you've seen this.
He used to live like 15 minutes away from me.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yep.
So Smashing Magazine helped me a lot too. This guy, I don't know if this is the right pronounce, is Nick LA from Web Designer Wall some years ago.
Yeah.
And also the documentations, of course.
It's funny you mentioned all those sites. Like I'm thinking mentally through my bookmarks, and those are all some of my favorite ones too. Yeah. It's so great.
There's this one guy from Brazil. He was very important for our community. He was the first resource about CSS and HTML in Portuguese, who is Maljor, and I have to thank him too.
Awesome. Well, that's so good. I love it. So how has your conference been? How was WordCamp?
Well, it's been awesome. I spoke with a lot of people, and I met Andrea Middleton. Oh, Andrea. It's like I had made a question for Matt, and I was a little, hi, Matt. Yeah, my voice was a little shaky. People told me it was because the microphone is extremely loud, and I was like, I don't want to shout at Matt Muller. So, but it has been awesome.
That's so great. Well, thank you for stopping by and chatting and adding your voice to this this podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Very appreciative. That's great. And have the rest of the great rest of the conference.
Yes.
There's only a little bit left.
Yeah, and then we have the party.
And then the party.
Yeah.
Which I hear is pretty crazy. So I'm excited.
Oh, I am excited too.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
I'm Susanna. I'm coming from Berlin. So
So
here.
you came very far.
Yeah, it's far. It's half an hour with German, so it's far.
Oh, yeah.
It's very far. And I'm a blogger. I'm a travel blogger and write for my own blog and in German and in English. And yeah, that's what I'm doing the most time.
That's awesome. How did you find WordPress? How did you get involved with WordPress at first?
Oh, my husband is making WordPress websites for years, and so he made my website, and
And then you just picked it up and just went with it.
yeah, I work with it.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to work with it.
That's awesome. So do you go to conferences, like the WordCamps, a lot, or?
My third WordCamp now.
Yeah?
Yeah, we've been in Paris and Belgrade.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was your favorite takeaway or part of this one today?
This year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this year. Oh, I'd like to hear not about SEO and to create content, and that's why I'm here to listen about this. The technical part, it's not mine, and so
Yeah.
I do this.
But it takes all pieces. Like the writing,
Yeah.
that is not my strong point. And definitely not. And I only speak one language. I still am terrible at writing in English. So it takes all of these skills to really make this community.
Yeah,
so,
that's right, yeah.
For sure. So you still have your travel blog?
Yeah.
All right. So where was your favorite place to travel?
Last year it was Montenegro.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, really nice country. Lovely landscapes and yeah. And the most interesting town I think was London.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
A bit loud and noisy, but very nice.
That's excellent. That's awesome. Any travel tips? Because I love traveling.
You love to. Okay.
If you can tell.
Yeah, that's right. In the spring, in the very early spring, I think it's Morocco. It's very nice.
Yeah.
Because it's warm there and you can rest down and do nothing.
That sounds lovely.
And yeah, and in the winter time, I like skiing.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's
Nice. Where have you been skiing?
in Switzerland.
In Switzerland?
When I was a child, we'd drive every time to Switzerland, go skiing there.
I'm from Wisconsin, which is very flat.
Yeah.
The only skiing we have is on garbage dumps.
Okay. Okay. No.
So it's not the same experience. But, well, thank you for chatting with me for a bit. Like, this is really, like, to get all levels has been really the goal and the focus of this podcast.
That's right, yeah.
Because there's so many of these podcasts that are like, here are the big names and here are these grandiose things. But this community is really created by us.
That's right, yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing your voice with us.
Thanks.
Yeah. And that about does it for this episode of Women in WP. Thank you for listening. And if you would like to be on the show, fill out the form on our website, womeninwp.com. Until next time.